Thank the ranking member. I will now represent my good friend, Mr. Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think we should start with, this isn't a protest. What we saw in here today is, and it's performative art. The only time their hands go up is when the camera goes up, because they're trying to get in a picture. And they can't keep their hands up for longer than 15 seconds. If they want to know what protest and bravery looks like, read some stories. Talk about somebody starving to death and handing the person standing next to them in line their food for the day, when the food they're getting for a day is less than most people get for half of a breakfast. When an entire continent is trying to wipe you off the face of the planet. And you want to know what the difference is? Mr. Kestenbaum, if the Klan tried to have a 2-week sit-in protest at Harvard, do you think Harvard's university and their leadership would negotiate a ceasefire with them?
Absolutely not.
Mr. Jacoby, if a bunch of militia guys showed up in Tommy tactical gear and playing G.I. Joe and doing all of those things and wanted to do all of that at Pennsylvania, you think the university would negotiate with them?
They would not.
No, they wouldn't. Mr. Goldfeder, you said that. That's the difference. Because you can get a picture with these people, you can stand there, you can talk about these things in polite society when they are saying things when they have no idea what the history is. 7 miles from the river to the sea. 7 miles to the Jordanian border. That's where it is in Israel. The reason Israel exists is because nobody in Europe would take them. We wouldn't take them. It is the greatest single horrific event in modern history. And I just think if you're at Harvard, maybe you should learn about it. Or if you're at Penn, you should learn about it. So when we talk about these things like they're equivalent, they're not. They're just not. This is coordinated. This is going on. We treat somebody different. Here's the thing. If somebody comes after you with a machete, that's not a mostly peaceful protest. That's a felony. Charge them. If you want to occupy an entire building and commit felony acts of vandalism, how about a bunch of rich, liberal credit card kids understand what the consequences to a protest are? Spent 10 years as a criminal defense attorney and a public defender. I could tell you, if you are not on an Ivy League campus and you decide to do that when you're told you're going to leave, you know what you are? 6 months later, you're a felon. We don't need more federal money and dialogue. We need somebody to say, hey, you want to do this? You want to go on the grounds of free speech? You want to commit crimes on public ground? Then you know what? You can go through the rest of your life with your Ivy League education. Great, fantastic, it's awesome. But you're also gonna have that felony designation. Let me know how that goes when you're trying to become a licensed doctor or a licensed nurse. And then better yet, I think we should give them a Columbia Law School graduate as their attorney. Because you know what they got? Pass-fail grades, because who could possibly go to law school at a time like this? You know, the one profession where your personal feelings and your independent emotions and your spaces don't matter. I'm sorry, Judge, I need a continuance. Why? You overruled my objection, and I don't know how we could go on at a time like this. I have no concept. This is not the same thing. This is pervasive. It has been allowed to exist. And I just had 3 seniors in high school here, not from North Dakota. Turns out, I don't have a very large Jewish constituency in North Dakota. We're pretty homogeneous up there. But there is no moral equivalency to any of this. And when we pretend that there is, and we paint our hands red, and we walk around here, the reason the Klan wore hoods was 2 reasons. One, to intimidate people. The other reason is because they didn't want anybody to know who they were. That's the difference. I've got a minute left, and Mr. Kestenbaum, you go back to your neighborhood right now, where you went to high school. Would you tell a senior in high school who's a Jewish senior in high school to go to Harvard?
I thank you for the question, Congressman. I want to be super clear with my former principal and my Jewish community that it's not that Jewish students don't feel safe at Harvard. Jewish students are not safe at Harvard. And until Harvard implements any type of accountability, responsibility, or policies to combat anti-Semitism, then all of these Jewish schools and synagogues and communities should not allow Harvard admission recruiters within 50 feet of their school or 50 feet of their child. It is completely unacceptable what Jews are facing at Harvard in 2024 in the United States of America.
Mr. Jacoby, same question for Penn.
I agree with my friend Chavez. Unless the university enforces their own rules between now and graduation, then no Jewish student, no one that doesn't support the pro-terror encampments that are happening should step foot on Penn's campus.
Thank you, and I yield back.